Everyone feels it at some point. That fire in the gut, that electric energy coursing through your veins. You watch a video, hear a speech, catch a glimpse of who you could become, and suddenly you feel unlimited. That's motivation. It's beautiful. It's real. It's necessary. But it doesn't last. Because the world doesn't run on fire, it runs on fuel. And that fuel is called discipline. Motivation is the spark that lights the match. But discipline is the hand that keeps the flame alive when the wind starts to howl. Motivation gets you to start the journey. Discipline ensures you finish it. Because let's be honest, every great idea begins with a high. The dream is exciting. The plan feels perfect. The energy is unstoppable for a while. Then life happens. The alarm clock rings earlier than you wanted. The workout feels heavier than expected. The work gets boring. The results don't come fast enough. And suddenly, that motivation, it's nowhere to be found. That's the test. Because greatness isn't found in the moment you start. It's forged in the moment you feel like quitting and keep going anyway. It's what you do after motivation leaves that decides everything. Most people live on emotional roller coasters. They start strong. They disappear when the mood fades. They rely on how they feel instead of remembering what they committed to. That's why they don't grow. But you're not most people. You don't want a life that rises and falls on emotion. You want something sustainable, something strong, something real. You want to grow. And growth requires consistency. Consistency requires discipline. Discipline is showing up when you're tired. It's working when no one is watching. It's saying no when distraction calls. It's sticking to the plan when comfort screams for your attention. Discipline is saying to your future self, I've got you. Even when your present self is exhausted, uninspired, and uncertain. Because here's the truth. The world doesn't reward starters. It rewards finishers. The world doesn't pay for ideas. It pays for execution. And execution lives in the hands of the disciplined. You don't rise by being motivated every day. You rise by mastering your habits, especially on the hard days. Because discipline doesn't care how you feel. It only cares whether or not you move. And when you move with discipline over and over, through resistance, through repetition, through rain and routine, that's when growth becomes inevitable. That's when your body starts to change. That's when your mindset sharpens. That's when your bank account grows. That's when your leadership is forged. That's when your destiny shifts. Not in a single moment of hype, but in 1,000 moments of choosing discipline over ease. Because you don't get what you wish for in life. You get what you're willing to work for consistently. Discipline is quiet. It doesn't brag. It doesn't need applause. It's not sexy, but it's undeniable. Because the results it creates, they're permanent. Discipline builds self-respect. It creates peace of mind. It unlocks levels most people will never reach, not because they're not capable, but because they weren't consistent enough. You want to know the difference between success and struggle? It's not motivation. It's how long you're willing to show up without applause. It's how long you're willing to do the right thing before the results catch up. That's the long game. That's the real game. That's where discipline dominates. And here's the secret most people miss. Discipline isn't punishment. It's freedom. It's the freedom to trust yourself, to know you'll follow through, to walk into any room and know that you don't need to talk because your habits already speak louder than your words ever could. Discipline makes you dangerous, not because you're loud, but because you're relentless. You become the kind of person who can't be thrown off track because you are the track. You built the path you're walking, and it wasn't built in hype. It was built in silence, in early mornings, in disciplined nights, in doing the work, even when the world was sleeping. That's where growth lives, not in the idea, but in the execution, not in the promise, but in the practice, not in the motivation. but in the mastery earned through daily discipline. So the next time you don't feel like it, the next time the fire dies down, the next time your mind says, skip it, rest, quit, you tell it this: motivation got me started, but discipline is what keeps me growing. And I'm not here to be excited. I'm here to be excellent. I'm not here for comfort. I'm here for character. I'm not here to chase hype. I'm here to become unstoppable. Because that's the shift, the internal switch that separates a lifetime of regret from a life of reward. The moment you stop asking, how can I stay motivated? And start asking, who do I need to become to stay consistent? The moment you stop seeking quick fixes and start embracing daily fundamentals. Because greatness doesn't arrive in a lightning strike, it accumulates like water over stone. And the tool that carves through resistance is not talent. It's not luck. It's not even passion. It's discipline. Discipline to do what needs to be done without drama. To rise without needing recognition. To keep your promise even when no one's watching. It's the builder of trust. The author of confidence. The source of real power. You don't need more hype. You need habits. You don't need more fire. You need a framework, because motivation can make you feel like a lion for a minute. But discipline makes you hunt like one every day. Not just when you're inspired, but when it's cold, when it's boring, when you're tired, when it's lonely, when it's hard, because that's when character is forged. That's when mastery is written. That's when real growth happens, not in your victories, but in your resistance to surrender. You want to change your body? Discipline. You want to change your finances? Discipline. You want to build a business? Discipline. You want to earn trust, respect, peace, and power? Discipline. Because the most powerful people in the world don't have more hours in the day. They just own more of their minutes. They don't waste time wondering what to do because they've already decided who they are. And who they are shows up regardless of emotion. That's the mark of a professional. That's the mark of someone who doesn't just work. They work with intention. They train. They track. They study. They execute. They grow. Not once a month. Not when it's trendy. But every single day. Even in silence. Even in setbacks. Even in suffering. Because they know the truth. Every time you skip the excuse, every time you override the laziness, every time you keep the promise to yourself, you are proving who you are. You are earning respect with every rep. And here's what makes discipline so unstoppable. It stacks. It compounds. It builds a mountain of momentum so massive that soon the cost of quitting becomes greater than the pain of continuing. You don't even entertain weakness anymore because your identity is now wired for strength. Your mind stops negotiating. Your feet keep moving. Your eyes stay locked on the path. Your habits hold the line. That's when you've crossed over. From relying on motivation to living in mastery. From chasing high energy to commanding high standards. From needing the world to push you to becoming the one who pulls others up. That's leadership. That's power. That's how you outlast, outperform, outdiscipline everyone around you. Not with shortcuts, but with standards. Standards that don't move with the wind. Standards that don't fall when things get heavy. Standards that become you. And when your standard is discipline, your growth is guaranteed. Because you no longer live from your feelings. You live from your foundations. And foundations don't break when the storm comes. They hold strong. So what do you build your life on? Excitement? That fades. Inspiration? That's temporary. Discipline? That's forever. Because forever isn't built in one decision. It's built in 1,000 quiet ones. The decision to wake up on time when no one would know if you didn't. The decision to train when your muscles ache and your mind begs you to stop. The decision to read, to write, to study when the world is screaming for your attention. The decision to stay true when the easier thing would be to quit. That's where growth hides. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't flash a sign. It waits silently behind the doors most people never open, because those doors are disguised as boredom. They're disguised as repetition. They're disguised as inconvenience. But behind them, strength, stability, success. Because the truth is this, the people you admire, the ones who've created impact, wealth, legacy, they weren't just driven. They were disciplined. Driven is loud. Discipline is consistent. Driven starts fast. Discipline finishes strong. Driven gets you through the first chapter. Discipline writes the last sentence. And the longer you live, the more you realize anyone can be driven for a moment. But few are disciplined for a lifetime, because discipline costs you something. It costs you comfort. It costs you popularity. It costs you the cheap highs that come from cutting corners. But what you gain yourself. You gain a version of you that doesn't need a pep talk to perform. A version that doesn't depend on validation to feel valuable. A version that isn't swayed by failure or inflated by applause. A version that is rooted, real, relentless. You gain the life you were always meant to live, not because someone gave it to you, but because you built it. And you built it the hard way, brick by brick, step by step, day by day, in the cold, in the quiet, in the absence of motivation. You built it with nothing but your word and the discipline to keep it. That's where pride comes from. Not from being perfect, but from knowing you showed up anyway. And that pride, that's peace. The peace that comes from becoming someone you don't have to explain. Because your habits, your presence, your work, they speak for you. So if you want to grow, not just start strong, but stay strong. Don't ask yourself what motivates you. Ask yourself what you've committed to. Ask yourself what you're willing to do when no one is watching. What you're willing to build in silence. What you're willing to do every single day without needing hype or recognition. Because that's who you really are. Not what you do once, but what you do repeatedly. And the life you end up with, it won't be the result of a single breakthrough. It'll be the compound effect of relentless discipline. So when your mind says, it's okay to skip today, you reply, no, this is who I am now. When your body says, let's take it easy, you respond, let's grow instead. When life says, you've done enough, you answer, I'm not done yet. Because motivation got you going. But discipline is what keeps you growing. And you're not here to just move. You're here to multiply. Not here to survive, but to scale. Not here to live on fire for a week, but to burn with purpose for a lifetime. And that kind of life, that kind of unstoppable, unshakable, undeniable growth, that's not given. It's earned through discipline every single day. You can lose money and earn it back. You can waste money and still recover. You can invest money, misplace it, even burn it, and somehow it finds a way back to you. But time, once it's gone forever. Every second you spend, you never get again. Not one, not ever. And yet, most people guard their money with intensity while giving their time away like it's worthless. That's the lie society sold you, that money is the measure of wealth. But it's not. Time is. Because money is infinite. But your time, that's the one currency you're born with a limited balance of. And every day you wake up, the clock starts ticking. Not just on your to-do list, not just on your career, but on your life. Tick. That's a choice you made. Tick. That's a moment you won't get again. Tick. That's an opportunity you either seized or lost. And most people don't realize they're going bankrupt, not financially, but existentially. They trade their hours for distractions. They sell their days to opinions. They rent their attention to anything and everything but their dreams. They spend time like it's free, not realizing they're paying with their purpose. And when the bill finally comes due at the end, when it's too late, they finally see it. The real price of wasted time. Regret. Not regret for the money they didn't make, but for the life they didn't live. The conversations they skipped. The chances they avoided. The risks they never took. The work they never finished. The dreams they buried under someday. But someday isn't real. Someday is the cemetery where dreams are laid to rest. And time is not generous. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't pause for your emotions. It doesn't wait for your confidence. It moves constantly, silently, and irreversibly. So if you want to win, not just in business, not just in career, but in life, you must value time above all else. Protect it like treasure. Respect it like a sacred gift. Guard it like your future depends on it, because it does. Start saying no to things that don't serve your mission. Start pruning your calendar like your life is a masterpiece in progress. Start treating every hour like a seed, because it is. Every hour you spend shapes your next chapter. Every block of time is a block of your legacy. And if you keep building with careless bricks, don't be surprised when the structure collapses. Time is the master sculptor. It carves the successful and the forgotten. It rewards the disciplined and punishes the drifting. It's the silent judge of all our decisions, and it never misses a detail. The question is not, how much time do I have? The question is, what am I doing with the time I've been given? Because one day, you'll wake up and there will be less future than past. Less room to waste. Less time to talk about changing. Only space left to act or to wish you had. You want to get rich? Respect time. You want peace? Manage time. You want impact? Own time. Not with apps, not with hacks. With focus. With intention. With the daily discipline of someone who knows that every minute is a mirror reflecting who you are becoming. Because time, like money, leaves a paper trail. But unlike money, the receipts are irreversible. They show up in the life you're living, in the energy you carry, in the depth of your relationships, in the health of your body, in the quality of your thoughts. So stop treating your time like it's disposable. It's not. It is your one true asset. You don't own a house, you rent it with time. You don't own a business. You pay for it in time. You don't own love, joy, wisdom, you earn them through the moments you dedicate to them. So stop pretending you're waiting for the right time. The right time is now. Now is all you'll ever have. Now is the only place power lives. Now is the only currency that counts. Not someday, not one day, not when you're ready. Now. So take it, own it, honor it, build with it, break through with it, and never forget, time is more valuable than money, because money can make you rich, but time, used wisely, can make you immortal. Because when you understand how precious time really is, you stop negotiating with it. You stop trading it for things that don't build you. You stop exchanging it for comfort, for validation, for numbing escapes that keep you standing still. You become ruthless, not with people, but with your priorities, because you finally see the truth. Your time is either a weapon or a wound. It's either carving your future or cutting it short. It's either being invested or it's being wasted. And wasted time is a slow form of self-betrayal, because deep down, you know better. You know you were meant to build, to create, to learn, to impact, to rise. And every day you delay, every hour you drift, every moment you give away to the meaningless, you dig a little deeper into the grave of your own greatness. But not anymore. Not if you choose to wake up. To look time in the eyes and say, I see you now. and I won't waste you again. You reclaim your hours. You cancel the noise. You shut the doors that steal your focus and open the ones that lead to legacy. Because every legacy worth remembering was built with disciplined time. Every genius was made through hours of intentional effort. Not bursts of brilliance, blocks of consistency. Not viral moments, years of quiet mastery. So if you want a future that's different, start by measuring time differently. Stop asking, how long will it take? Start asking, how well will I use today? Stop saying, I'm busy. Start admitting, I've just been distracted. Because being busy is not the same as being intentional. And productivity is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. And what matters most? The time you will never get back. You don't need to work 18 hours a day to win. You need to own the hours you already have. Turn off the distractions. Silence the noise. Set your standard. Guard your time like a soldier guards a gate. Because your dream is under attack every minute you spend asleep to your own purpose. You are not here to exist. You are here to execute. You are not here to wait. You are here to wake up. To move with urgency, but not panic. To work with precision, not pressure. To live each hour with the full weight of its value and to spend it only on what is worthy. Because time is not cheap. It's not casual. It's not something you use up on the way to something else. It is the very substance of your legacy. And when your time is gone, when the clock hits zero, the only thing that will matter is what you did with it. Did you build something that outlives you? Did you love with presence? Did you learn with hunger? Did you grow even when it was hard? Did you fight for the best version of yourself? Or did you let it all slip through your fingers? One distracted minute at a time. Because there's no refund, no reset, no extra time added to the clock when you realize too late what it was really worth. So don't wait for a crisis to value your time. Don't wait for heartbreak or loss or regret. Make the decision now while you still have minutes left to shape. Because when you own your time, you own your life. When you respect your time, others will too. When you master your time, you begin to master yourself. And that is where greatness begins. Because when you begin to master yourself, you step into a rare kind of power. The kind that doesn't need applause, doesn't beg for opportunity, doesn't wait for the right moment. You become the moment. You create the opportunity. You set the standard. And it all starts with how you treat your time. Not as something to get through, but something to grow through. Not as something to kill, but something to cultivate. Because time is not your enemy. Waste is. Distraction is. Indecision is. Those are the thieves. They don't just steal hours, they steal potential. They rob you of presence, of passion, of progress. And if you let them, they will steal your entire life. But the one who masters time, that person becomes unstoppable. Because time mastery is self-mastery. And self-mastery is the root of every breakthrough you've ever dreamed of. Want to write the book? It's not about ideas. It's about carving the time. Want to change your health? It's not just about workouts. It's about when you prioritize them. Want to transform your income? It's not just hustle. It's how wisely you spend your focus. Everything you want lives in how you handle the hours. That's the equation. Not passion, not potential. Precision. Precision in how you plan. Precision in how you protect. Precision in how you pour yourself into each moment without letting time leak away in fragments. Because most people don't lose decades all at once. They lose 5 minutes at a time. Scroll here, procrastinate there, delay a little longer. Just one more video, just one more excuse. And then they wonder where the time went. But not you, not anymore. You're done with the casual countdown. You're done watching the clock run your life. From this moment forward, you run the clock. You become the kind of person who doesn't just show up, you maximize. You don't just fill time, you invest it. You don't just exist in time, you expand through it. Because once you realize how short this ride is, you stop trying to fill it with noise. You start focusing on the signal. You start building what matters, speaking what matters, doing what matters, and cutting everything else out. That's not harsh. That's freedom. Because saying no to what doesn't serve your future is how you say yes to what does. So you stop explaining yourself. You stop apologizing for choosing focus. You stop lowering your standard to accommodate those who don't value time, because you know every second matters. Every second is either a seed or a scar. Every second is either building your vision or eroding it. Every second is either feeding your legacy or starving it. And legacies aren't written in years. They're built in moments, moment by moment, choice by choice, hour by hour. That's where transformation lives. Not in some distant dream, not in some grand event, but in how you manage this minute, right now, while you still have it, while it's still yours. Because once it passes, it belongs to your past. And if you've been handing your future away one moment at a time, then now is the time to take it back. You don't need more time. You need more intention. You don't need to work harder. You need to waste less. Because when you start measuring your life in focused hours, you don't just become productive. You become powerful. And when you become powerful with your time, the world begins to respect your life. Because when the world sees someone who commands their time, it sees someone who commands their destiny. You walk different. You speak with clarity. You move with purpose. You radiate a sense of urgency that isn't frantic, it's focused. Not because you're rushing, but because you understand. You understand that your life is not a dress rehearsal. You understand that your mission is not guaranteed another day. You understand that the clock is not ticking for you, it's ticking on you. And you've decided you won't let another minute fall into the hands of the mediocre. You won't let another hour be stolen by your old habits. You won't give the rest of your life to the version of you that settles, stalls, or waits for the right mood. No, that version is done. That version had its chance. That version burned through too many mornings, too many opportunities, too much promise. You've buried that version now. And in its place stands someone new. Someone who doesn't spend time, they invest it. Someone who doesn't beg for time, they own it. Someone who doesn't fear the clock, they set it, run it, and win against it. You're not just living anymore. You're leading your life, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. Because when time becomes sacred, everything changes. Your relationships deepen because you're present. Your work sharpens because you're focused. Your vision expands because you're disciplined. Your life elevates because you're intentional. And that's what this was always about. Not success, not money, not achievement, but alignment with your mission, with your future, with the version of you that lives fully instead of merely existing. That version, it's not a fantasy. It's already inside you, waiting, watching, pacing behind the walls you've built with distraction, doubt, delay. But now, those walls are coming down. Now, with every second you reclaim, you chip away at the old. You rise into the essential, into the eternal, into the extraordinary. And in the end, when it's all over, when the final second slips through your hands, you'll know something most never get to feel. You used your time. You honored your time. You lived your time, not in fear, not in waiting, but in fullness, because you remembered what they forgot. You understood what most ignore. You committed to what most abandon. Time is more valuable than money, and you chose to spend it on what matters most. So now, you don't need more time. You've already created more life.